Today we're looking at the Toyota PROACE Electric, and it is, this wrap isn't a standard now, so you're going to get it in the normal colours. Depending on the market will dictate the options that you get. So in some markets it comes in 2 body lengths. I think here in Ireland and the UK we're just getting the 1 length, but confirm that. It also comes in 2 battery sizes, a 50 kilowatt hour and a 75 kilowatt hour. Today we're driving the 50 kilowatt hour battery. WLTP is 280 kilometers, and real world probably near the 210. Starting off the front, nice short bonnet, and this, as you can tell, is based on that PSA Stellantis group EMP2 platform. So you will see this version in a Vauxhall or an Opel or a Peugeot or a Citroen, so they're all very, but I think the Toyota does a good job of it. You've got some daytime running lights, but you have some halogen bulbs, which is across all of it. Your Toyota badge with your silver, so at the front it looks nice, and I suppose this wrap doesn't do it any favours. You've got your aerial up the top there, but a nice grey highlight down here. Comes in 2 different trims, and this is the upper level trim depending on your market. The 2 different trims in the Irish market are called the GL and the GX, and the upper level trim has those fog lights as an identifier. It also has these hubcaps, whereas the normal one just has the steel alloys. You can see you've got your front parking sensors, you've got your charging port here at the front. On AC it has a 7 kilowatt, and then there's an optional 11 kilowatt, and on DC then up to 100 kilowatts. On average, if you get a overnight charger, that will take 7 hours and 15 minutes to charge the smaller battery, which is this one, and then on the larger DC charging it'll take 26 minutes, 10 to 80%. 16-inch alloys, if I'm not mistaken. 16-inch wheels, yeah. 215 65/16s on this. You've got your little dinky indicator from Stellantis. Your retractable wing mirrors, and I always say these are probably a small bit small for me. Inside, and we cover that in a minute. Twin sliding doors on this. Got some stuff here. We're at a show last week. Great to have the twin sliding doors. You can see there, and I'll put up on the screen the width and the height. The Toyota also has a metal bulkhead with a glass window with that protective cage over it as well. In the back you have some halogen lights. Around the back you will see the original flap for the fuel filler, but not the case on the electric one. On the back you have your high level brake light up here, and then you've got your bulk, and these are there. It's 50-50 split, and when you open the door the lights are on the cutout, and then with the little luminous they go to 180 in total. They're not locked there though, so if it is a windy day I'd be surprised if they don't get them here today. Has towing capability up to 1000 kgs, and it has a nice little plate on the back of the bumper just for loading stuff in and loading stuff out. That's the second light up there then. So the width of the rear doors, I'm going to put up on the screen the width and the height. Space in the back, on the standard length it is 5.3 square meters, and that goes up to 6.1 square meters on the long wheelbase, with that multi-cargo option underneath the seat there that allows it to go in underneath the seat with the longer size. That smart cargo bulkhead. So that's the business end. My license plate's after falling down there now. We'll go with passenger first side, so you can see some of the smart additions that they have in here. So on the door you've got your electric windows, you've got a good pocket here and another big pocket here. A small little guy here, but I'm not sure that's you're going to be really putting anything in there. Now whenever you see these blue tabs, it means it has something that it does. So that opens it up, and you can see there it's got the smart bulkhead where you can actually pass things through. So you could drop that down, it opens it up, and that can goes all the way through then, so that increases up to 6.1. That goes down like that. You also have the little office with a secret stash in here, and that goes all the way around. And you also have storage in underneath that seat. Speaking of storage, up on top you have your glove box, shelf, another bit in here, a coffee cup holder here, central storage in there. There is no top 3 passengers, but that middle passenger probably will get cut out with that. Because this is based on a combustion engine van, you have that where the traditional gear lever would go. Driver's door, you've got the side mirrors and your double windows, exact same here. Then you've got the big pocket, massive. Now when I say massive, absolutely massive. Over my right knee you've got sensors on or off, and your highlighters, your lights. Up here you've got coffee cup holder. Nothing on the steering wheel, but you do have stalks behind. So you have on the right hand side you've got your lights, and then underneath that then you have your audio. Let's see if I can get a bit of pig. There it is. And on the left hand side you've got your cruise control, and you've got your indicators. Sorry, the right hand side is wipers, left hand side is lights. It's a keyless entry, keyless start. There's your dials. Let's turn that down before we get copyright. Left hand side is your speed. Then it's how much you're affecting the battery with regards to your temperature, your battery percentage, and then you have your tripometer, and you can increase or decrease the brightness there, and you can run your check, and then how much power at that time, whether you're regenerating batteries, power back into the battery or not. And you can change it by pressing this fella here. So this does this over time in the last 3,000 kilometers is doing 30.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So on a 45-hour usable battery, you can work it out. Then you're getting about 150, 160 because it's been doing a lot of motorway. Your kilometer per hour. And then trip 1, you can see in the last 730, I brought that down to 27.5. So depending on how you're driving it. The steering wheel itself is reach and rake. If I can find, there it is, the little lever in underneath somewhere. Oh yeah, up and down. And does it go? Yes, it's in and out as well. Very good. Let me clip that in. You've got your central storage we talked about, and then your screen 7-inch, and it's got car functions, parking sensors, blind spot sensors. This will have blind spot, under inflation and traction control. Then you've got your audio, which is Bluetooth or radio. You've got language, date, time, screen, apps, and then your phone, which is all good. You've got a nice actual setup. So this is temperature, and then this is speed, recirculation, direction, air conditioned, automatic, mono, as in it's set from the driver. If you turn that on, it matches it up over here. Heated front demister. Central lock and overall, rear lock, 12 volt. USB type A, a small little pocket, probably a bit small for my mobile phone, the start stop button, little pen holder that's going to go scooting off no matter when you go around the corner. Your drive modes, which are power, normal and eco. Your drive mode selector, then park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then B mode for that 2-stage regeneration. So I like what I've done, they've brought the 12 volt up here rather than having it down underneath on some of the other Stellantis platforms. Into P for park mode, and then you've got your electronic handbrake. There is a head unit then with your SOS button, your lights, etc, etc, and that's the speakers then for the Bluetooth hands-free speakers up here as well for picking up the microphone. 3 headrests. What else have we got going on here? Pretty much that's everything. Let's take it out for a drive. Driving the Toyota PROACE Electric, as I said, it's a start-stop button. It does all the ready for you, etc. You bring it into D. Because I'm doing a lot of urban, I'm going to be bringing it down to B. You don't have to turn off the electronic handbrake, but I always recommend it rather than forcing it off. And away we go. As I always say on these Stellantis-based vans, I think the wing mirrors are small but small, but the fact that there's blind spot is a big addition. I really like the fact that, and I think all EVs, all cars, all vehicles in general should have blind spot. They have a rear view mirror, but it's really only for looking into the bulkhead because you can't see out the back. Very smooth. It has that 100 kilowatt motor, giving you 136 brake horsepower and 260 newton meters of torque. Even with the small wing mirrors, the visibility isn't bad. Plenty of visibility out the front. You've got that high seating position, and you also have a decent side. Small bit of a blind spot down in the bottom of the A pillar. Yeah, it's nice. But finally, I'm able to do a van review with a bit of weight in the back of it. So I've got 184 kilometers at just under 3/4 full. So you're probably talking full 240, as much as they're saying 280 WLTP on the smaller battery. Real world is a bit lower than that. And I find with the PSA Stellantis vans that on the motorway at 120 kilometers an hour, even at 110, even at 100, the range really shoots down. So you have to be just mindful of making sure that you get these vans on the runs that you need them to do, because normally if your run is at a certain length, you want to make sure that these vans are covering that run if you do make that transition over to fully electric. Accelerator is nice and smooth. The seating position is good. I've got one of those little, it's like the leg of a chair, kind of tubular steel with a small bit of padding put around it, but it's an armrest nonetheless. On the right hand side, it isn't padded for doing having your elbow rested on it, so it's utilitarian, it's commercial. Brakes are good, and this is in normal mode, so there's no restriction on throttle. When I do go into power mode, that's obviously giving me all of that 260 newton meters of torque. Instantaneously you can feel the difference when you press the pedal, but that's going to affect your range. So estimated in power mode, it's bringing me down to 172. Bring it back to normal, and that brings me up to 182. And I'd say if I go to eco, that'll bring me up to 192. So there's probably a 10k, and it gives me a little information bell as to 190. So yeah, roughly about 8 or 9 kilometers of a saving. It said that throttle responsiveness, and you can feel it, or the lack of it thereof, is not there when it's in eco mode, and your temperatures will be affected as well. It won't allow you to put on a lot of AC, cold or hot. Some nice touches with it. I do prefer some of the steering wheels with the GL and the GX. Is the difference between the two of them. I do prefer when there is buttons on the steering wheel rather than behind it. So some of the other commercial models I've tested, it has been actually, the buttons have been on the steering wheel, so you're getting a bit more functionality. But the stalks do cover everything pretty much. The fact that there's cruise control, the fact that there's blind spot on it, wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. With the two trims here in Ireland, they're calling them the GL and the GX. You're still getting a 3.5-inch driver infotainment. You're getting a home AC cable, tire pressure monitoring, and the e-toggle drive mode switch, which are across both trims. And then on the upper level trim in Ireland, that's called the GX. There is a smart entry system, which is the keyless entry, audio switches on the steering, so that's the stalk, smart cargo, which is the drop down on the passenger seat, the glazed bulkhead, the fog lights, the 7-inch touch screen, which you don't get on the entry level, the dusk sensor, which is the automatic headlights, rain sensors, which is the automatic wipers, and then that auto air condition as well. So a couple of bits of difference there between the entry level trim and the upper level trim. Are you thinking about going for the Toyota PROACE Electric? Make sure you let me know in the comments. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you're interested in other electric vans, there is a playlist that I'm going to stick over my left shoulder to see all the different types of electric vans. We must be up nearly 20 different videos now on electric vans that are available in the Irish and UK markets, with more coming on all the time. Remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.